and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Fatma. If you're new here, it's so good to see you. I am a fantasy reader and I'm trying to be the duology queen, so stick around if you like duologies and fantasy books. But welcome, and today's video is going to be a little bit different, which I'm so excited. It's definitely new for me. I've definitely seen the challenge around, but I'm going to be reading one-star reviews of my favorite duologies. And am I ready to be offended? No, but I think it's gonna be fun still. And then before we jump in, let me give you some reading updates, okay? I was traveling for most of the month of May, so your girl did not read much. She did not, okay? K-dramas took over my life. I watched Dynamite Kiss and started Can This Love Be Translated, which is really cute. Both of them are very lighthearted, cute, romantic K-dramas, which I'm happy about. Let me know if you guys watch K-dramas. I'm happy to share with you guys my favorite ones. But yeah, when I watch K-dramas, I can't read. It's just all consuming. And so for the month of June, no K-dramas. Also, happy Pride. Happy Pride Month. So for the one-star reviews, I had two friends go on Goodreads and look up the one-star reviews, screenshot it, and send it to me because I wanted to blind react to these reviews, okay? I did not want to pick them out myself. So let's see. I picked 4 duologies to read one-star reviews. So number 1, we have Six of Crows. Loved Six of Crows. Like 6 stars, 100%. Divine Rivals, that's 5 stars. Sing Me to Sleep, 5 stars. And Jessed Air, which is God tier. So I think I'll leave Jessed Air for last because you guys, that's like my number 1. Not even just duology, but just book series of all time. Number 1. I don't want to hear anything negative about it, but today I will. So let's get started. Let's see what might be first. This girl, she DNF'd the duology, I guess the first book, 300 pages. Okay, all right, she got really far into it. Let's see what she says. Did we all read the same book? Because I find this book so awful that I don't think I would fully be able to express my hatred towards this book. Oh my gosh. The pacing of the book, question mark. It was so slow, like I read till 300 pages and nothing happened. And I was just so pissed. Girl, what? Then came the worst part of the book. The writing style. What? She's kidding. Okay. 300 pages and the author filled it with over explanation and useless drama dump that I hated. The Cruel Prince was also 300 pages, yet it had everything that this book lacked. And then the long chapters. I like long chapters if I like the book because I'm like, give me more content. Like, make the book 600 pages. I don't care because I want to eat it all up. But I guess if you don't like a book, long chapters is just kind of like boring. And short chapters, they're good because like they give you that boost of adrenaline or to just make you feel like you're making progress faster, and so that's fun. I get that, but I don't mind. Everyone broods, everyone suffers, nobody communicates, and also so childish. They are teenagers. This is YA. What did she think? They're not going to be these mature adults who have emotional regulation skills and they know how to communicate their emotions. Like, they are teenagers. And I don't know, I feel like Leah Bardugo handled trauma of her characters very, very well. Like, not everyone is able to talk about their trauma. Some people do fold in, right? Some people do literally suppress it and pretend it's not there. So I felt like it was very fitting how they reacted to their traumas. Okay. Yana's review, she said, I'm going to start with saying I am a romance reader. Not many books that don't have any romance can interest me. Now that being said, I have read many books before with absolutely zero romance and liked them. This seemed like a very liked book by others. That's why I decided to give it a try. I tried to give it a try up until page 220. I swear at times I felt like I wasn't even reading English. What? I did not read Shadow and Bones, even Bones. So whatever the series are before these, so I didn't know the world building, and I didn't know it was like needed to read these books either. Anyway, you get thrown into a fantasy world with zero explanation behind it. So by page 220, I still don't know if certain words were people's names, places, or things. Yeah, you do need to read Shadow and Bone. It's a trilogy before the duology, but I also have heard that people who've only read the duology were just fine, honestly. And it is very, I don't know. I didn't think the English was that simple. I really did not think her writing was Cornish or basic or childish. I thought her writing was really good, so it's really interesting to see another person not like her writing. Okay, that's fine. I can take that. I can take it. You guys, I survived the first one. Whew, okay, I survived. Moving on to the next book, Sing Me to Sleep. Okay, Sarah said, DNF 15%, it's not you, it's me. Oh, I wonder what she meant by that. Another person DNF'd it at 28%, and then Maya said, DNF review, Sing Me to Sleep sounded like a good and thrilling story, but unfortunately the novel did not excite me as I hoped. Okay, fair. I feel like it's kind of like, it starts out kind of like somber and like dark because of the themes of like sexual abuse and how the main character in Sing Me to Sleep had to protect herself and how she had to use her siren powers to do that. But then once she gets to like the palace and stuff, she's really cool. It like picks up and it just like is captivating. But yeah. Xana said, extremely generic and utterly forgettable. Dang. YA fantasy with a Mary Sue MFC and a childish male love interest who has zero redeeming qualities. Also take a shot every time author uses the word tick. I read this book a couple years ago, so I don't remember if the word tick was overused, but that's really funny. Fair, totally fair. Okay, and then this person's review said, DNF'd at 9%. This isn't for me. I couldn't take a single thing seriously in the first chapter. It was utterly ridiculous and I was laughing out loud so much my mom banned me from reading it when she went to bed. The world building is a little clunky and it's the writing that's not for me. I think someone looking for a new Throne of Glass might enjoy this. Oh, that's an interesting comparison. Sing Me to Sleep to Throne of Glass. I didn't think about it that way. I guess both MFCs are badasses and they have to like protect themselves and they have to go like undercover. Sure, okay. But for me, I'm not picking up what Circe is putting down. I'll be skipping this book box pick. That's all right. I really enjoyed it. It was nice. I really liked Sing Me to Sleep. I don't know. I just was like so inspired by the book. This idea of like women have power and we can stand up for what's right. We don't have to let injustice happen to us or any other woman, and not only protecting ourselves but all women. So I really like that about the book. So interesting. Okay, we're doing great. On to the third duology, Divine Rivals or Letters of Enchantment by Rebecca Ross. Okay, so this person said, reading this was torturous and I should have known from the start. It wasn't going to be for me, but God, sometimes I want to read romance and enjoy it. Remember, Divine Rivals is like 5 out of 5 stars for me. So that is just so funny. But the writing is also so horrifyingly bad. It is simply impossible. Stop. No way. I think Rebecca Ross is a freaking genius. Her writing was so captivating, and I normally don't like reading books with lyrical prose and lyrical like writing and poetic type of writing, but I think Rebecca Ross did it so well. You guys, I was highlighting quotes left and right. And if you ever want to write a genuine, beautiful love letter, read Divine Rivals, because the premise basically is these two war correspondents going back and forth writing to each other, and they fall in love, and it's just beautiful how they express their feelings to each other. So I don't agree with that. The writing was like phenomenal. This book really took the Wikipedia page of World War I, slapped the weakest backstory about two gods written in the history on it, and called it a fantasy. The lack of world building, lore, and basically motivation for anything that happens in this book is truly astonishing. Okay, rant over. Okay. I wouldn't call myself this know-it-all historian, and I didn't relate it to any real wars. I just let it be this fantasy type of war. So maybe that's why I wasn't too bothered about how the war was described and how it was used in the book. So that's interesting. Okay. And then Dominique's review. The hype about this book makes no sense to me. I'm sort of surprised this is so mainstream since the premise is actually pretty weird. A conflation between World War II vibes and fantasy gods at war, but the fantasy element just did not interest me. Also, nicely slots into one of my pet peeves. Advertised enemies to lovers, but is in fact just only for about 78 pages limply, at which point it dissolves into insta-love. Bleh. And the rest of it is so sickly sweet, it just wasn't convincing in the slightest. Roman is vanilla ice cream. Drizzled with cream. Yawn. I'm so over here looking at all these 5-star reviews, like literally how? Oh my gosh. It really does depend on how you like to take your love story, really, because Roman being a sweetheart like a golden retriever, I'm all about that. I'll take a bad boy every once in a while, but genuinely I always fall for the sweet boys, so I thought Roman was really sweet. The one thing I will agree with is that it wasn't fully like enemies to lovers. It wasn't truly that, and it did jump into insta love instantly. Like by book 1 they wanted to get married and stuff, but I don't know, it was like war. There is some time lapse. It's a historical fiction, so I don't know. I really enjoyed their love story. I thought they were perfect for each other. More for divine rivals. Okay. The world building is so bad. At some point, the main male character says he loves summer because it's when baseball season is back. They use lifts and have electricity, but use typewriters and dress very English Victorian vibes. But the war resembles the fighting strategies they've used in World War I, and there's magic and gods. And just when you think you settled into this early 20th century world, something else is added to the story, and it makes you wonder if it's actually more Napoleonic vibe. Okay, fair. Again, I'm not a historian nerd, and so like I didn't catch on to those things. I just let it be. Truly. And many people are referencing World War I, and then other people are referencing World War II. It's like, we don't know, honestly. Okay, to continue. The romance is horrible. The dialogue is cringe. It does not even allow you to have a cozy, fun read. The dialogue was not cringe. It was so romantic. Every single chapter said something that brings you out of the story. I did not feel that way. I thought there were nice twists and turns. Like, for those who have read it, like, I was so excited to find out how they were talking to each other through the type letter and all of that. That was just fun for me. I do not understand the hype. I think we need to start reading more to acclaim better books, because being over 25 and having this as a major literary favorite is just bad. I did not major in anything to do with literature or English degree. I'm a therapist. I'm happy where I'm at. But I respect her feelings. I respect. Okay. 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 Like, I just like have to prepare myself because Jessid Air is my favorite of all time. I'm like so nervous, you guys. Okay. I can do it. We will not shed tears. Okay. So Eileen's review. Let me see. Shanice's review, Vanessa's review. Okay, so Eileen says she DNF'd it at 30%. Egyptian inspired fantasy, ? A fugitive queen, ? This sounded like it should have been right up my alley. Unfortunately, it was a case of an awesome premise marred by subpar execution. Dang, girl. I know it's a debut, so I wish I could be more forgiving of this, but the writing was incredibly amateur. No, it wasn't. That's not true. The author is literally a freaking lawyer. Like, I thought her writing was superb. Like, I was reading like a book that was written by a Harvard attendee. Like, I thought it was great. Lots of great vocabulary. I had to look up some things, okay? Oh my gosh. I know people tend to throw this term around when it's just juvenile sounding internal narration, which can be perfectly suited to a young main character, but in this case, it wasn't even that. The main character's internal monologue wasn't juvenile, but just so stiff and unnatural. It was not stiff and unnatural. And I wonder if there's a cultural difference, because for me, like, I lived in Egypt for a bit, and for me, like, it just seemed like an Egyptian speaking, so I don't know. Anyways, awkward metaphors and clunky structured sentences abounded, and the dialogue between characters was downright cringeworthy, trying way too hard to be snarky. It was perfectly snarky. It was so funny. I don't think she was trying too hard. We also had a really obvious realizations repeated out loud, as if the author didn't trust the reader to pick up on them. Not true. Everything was delivered in this sort of heavy-handed fashion. There was also so much info dumping and filler, even in the first third of the book. The main plot had barely even kicked off, and already so many scenes felt like they could have been cut off. No, I wanted every scene in Jessid Air. Every scene. There was so much discussion of past events rather than current that it made me wonder why this story was the one being told. It made sense. We needed her past story. What are you talking about? This happens all the time where they mix the past and the present to give a fuller explanation of everything. It happens. I hate DNFing arcs, but she got an arc of Jessid Air. I'm okay. But I can almost instantly tell this book wasn't suited to my taste. I forced myself to at least give a third of it a try, but after 150 pages, it still hadn't gotten any better. The thing is, Jessid Air is Egyptian inspired. There's so much Arabic, there's so many foods that Egyptian people eat included in the book. And you have to be aware of how Egyptians are, and they're just like their day-to-day conversations, their mannerisms. They can be like rude, but it's a community-based culture, so like they're very honest and upfront. They joke with each other, but there's so much love still. So anyways, I'm okay. I'm okay. Okay, let's read Vanessa's review. Let's see if there's just one. Okay, so Vanessa DNF'd it at 60%, right? And let's see. She said, I wanted to love this book so badly, I really did, because the characters have potential and the world clearly has depth, but something about it just felt off. Every time I turn a page, instead of being swept away into a magical world, I feel like I'm reading a history book. No way. I did not think it was, wow, I didn't even know. I'd never got too much history in the book. There was just so much information, so many details, that it starts to feel like reading a history book rather than a fantasy book. Again, I wonder if there's a language barrier. I'm just saying. The characters. Okay, what does she have to say about the characters? The heroine Sylvia could have been powerful and compelling, but she's written so inconsistently, it's impossible to connect with her. I think the inconsistency comes from someone genuinely dealing with an identity crisis, and we're watching that unfold, right? She's not supposed to be straightforward if she's trying to figure out her life and her goals or her intentions and purpose in life, right? And it totally makes sense. I feel like the author, Sarah Hashem, captured the trauma very, very, very well. Like, and the experience of wanting to figure out, what do I owe my people, right? Okay, then on to the shorter reviews. Sad to see a Muslim woman write genocide and colonizer apologist propaganda. Do better. Damn. They didn't finish this. They didn't finish. Or maybe this person did. But I think it was wrapped up so beautifully. Everything was salvaged. I think she genuinely had commentary about the genocide and the colonization. And like, what? I don't know. Literally, the main character Sylvia ends up with the rebel group, and Aaron ends up helping the rebel group to correct things. So I'm just like so confused. And then Abigail said the same thing. Not a fan of colonizer romance. That's a tough one. But I just think people view things differently, and that's okay, and I can respect their opinions. But I genuinely loved Jessid Air and Jessid Crown. I'm so grateful that I started that book this year in January. That was my first duology in this duology challenge, and honestly, I could not have started with anything better. I love her writing. She's become an instant buy author for me. I will forever support Sarah Hashem, okay? As long as she doesn't do anything wrong, obviously. And she is coming out with another duology next year, which I'm so excited about. Oh, I trust this woman. So there's that. Let me know what you guys have thought about all these comments, my comments, the other people's reviews, these books, if you read any of them, if you love them. Yeah, and I'll see you guys soon. Please subscribe. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers. But yeah, you guys are the best. I will see you next time. Please follow me on my socials. Remember to drink your water, stay hydrated, get good sleep, talk kindly to yourself, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.